Good day, everybody. This is your host, Mr. Ali Rothwell from TechRed TV, from our firm TechRed, where we design, develop 2D, 3D games for mobile, PC, and WebGL. So I thought of starting a series where we'll actually show you how a mobile game is designed and developed from concept to the designs and to development, and then uploading the game on Android and iOS. So you'll actually learn different aspects of the game, and I'll go slowly one by one. And this is for absolute beginners. If you do not know programming, this is a tutorial for you. If you know programming, then you can just brush up your skills and give us comments and give us advice as well if you're doing something that could be done a bit better. So we're going to design and develop a game for mobile. It's going to be an endless gameplay. It's going to be a very basic game. So the creativity and the assets we will design and we'll utilize, and we'll share the resources that you can use so you can develop on this. And the source code for this game will be available to our Patreons. So if you want to be a Patreon and support the channel and get the source code and the programming files and the assets, just click the link below in the description and you can become a Patreon. It's just $3 a month. I think that helps us support the channel and make these videos. So with any delays, let's kick it off after this brief intro. Welcome back, guys. So to kick it off, now the game that we're going to design is going to be a simple endless runner where the user taps once for a single jump to avoid any hurdles, and the double jump to avoid a bigger hurdle. And we are going to make an isometric game, but the principles are the same, so you can apply it to your 3D games, maybe a vertical or horizontal or whatever novel third person or FPS game. So kick it off. I'm using the 2022.3.7 F1 version, and normally what people will do is your first instinct will be to get to 3D model this one, but that's not what I normally use. So the one that I use is 3D URP. So URP is something that the universal render pipeline and the graphics and the rendering, your mobile phones are powerful enough to get the URP done. The HDRP is not something that is compatible with the mobile phone. So for my choice has always been a 3D URP. So the project name, the game name, you guys can name it anything you want. So what I'll do is maybe an endless runner where we've got a character that's going to get groceries. And so I'm just going to name it the grocery mission. That's it. I'm just gonna name it and press. Now you guys can give space in between, but for me I've got just a habit of not giving any spaces, so every first letter is the capital. If you're out with the name, you can always use ChatGPT or Google Bot to get the names, but in my experience those names normally are a combination of something that's already present, so which is not recommended. So come up with the name and check on your Google Play Store and other Play Stores to see. So I'm just gonna press create and wait for it to begin the project. And I'm just going to pause the video for now, and once it's loaded, then we'll begin. So once your project is open and you're making a mobile game, right? So the first thing before you begin anything else is, what I tend to do is go to your scenes. I'll create a new fresh scene, go to right click on the layout, and you might have a different layout. My layout is this one, so that's the one I actually use. So in scenes, I'm going to right click, go to create, and then get the scene option here. So you'll go and find plain scene, click it, and I'm just going to name it home scene, right? And double click it. So you get a new fresh scene, and the sample scene, I'm just going to delete it, select it and press delete button. And if you see the tutorial info, I'm going to press and delete this one just to clean up my project, right? Now to begin any new project, because this is a 3D URP project, I'm going to go to File, go to Build Settings, and from Windows, you need to do Android, and then you need to switch platform. So that's a must and the first step that you need to do. And that's from my recommendation, is rather than start building the functionality, you go process by process, step by step. So these small things will actually progress your project and your game pretty fast. And it gives you a sense of accomplishment as well. A lot of the times when people are designing and developing a game, so they get frustrated, they get bored, or they get lethargic, and it becomes a work or a job or a task that looks like a mountainous work. So it can demoralize you. So these are like small steps. You do small things, and then you just put a checkbox on the task that you've listed. It's a good idea to, on an Excel sheet or a Google sheet, just put down these tasks and just add a checkbox next to it and keep checking it, so you know you've already changed it. So we've changed to Android platform. I'm just going to click player settings, and Unity does this to you. You might have this complete assets or not. For me, it does sometimes. And coming to player, so default company, I'm going to write down TechRath, and the game is the Grocery Mission. That's the name of the game and the version, right? Now coming to resolution and presentation, going down, so this is where your game becomes either a portrait or a landscape. So mine one is just landscape, so I'm just gonna uncheck the portrait one, right? This is where you're going to add your game icon later on, so your splash screen and other stuff. So that's some basic. If you've already got an icon, you can put it here, stuff like that. And same thing with the splash screen, because this is a free version of Unity, so we'll see the free version. All right, so when moving forward, that's the basic setup that we've done. And because this sample scene has been removed, right, so I'm just going to select it and press delete to remove it. So we've got the home screen here, and we're going to kick it off. So I'm just going to go to camera, go to my environment. If you want to keep a skybox, you can keep a skybox, otherwise you'll put solid color. I'm going to choose 2F 2F 2F, and that's going to be my first starting off. And with the projection, I'm going to go to orthographic 0.1, and for near -100. That's basically so nothing gets clipped, and that's your basic setting. Now coming to the game, you might have the option of game here, right? So it's always good that to see what your game's going to look like on your device, so you click select the simulator and then select the device. So for me, it's an Android game, or even if if you want it on iOS. If you want it on iOS, you can do iPhone 12 or maybe Samsung Huawei 40 Pro maybe. Okay, so that's how you'll actually know how your game is looking like. I hope this helps you guys. So because I'll be basically cutting on small tutorials or small lessons for further in. So this is our tutorial series for the game The Grocery Mission, and after this we are going to add our UI, an image, background image, UI, and we're going to take it further. Okay, moving forward, I'm going to design my UI for the game. So I'm going to use Adobe Photoshop. If you guys do not have Adobe Photoshop, I'm going to show you a website. This is the website. So it's called Photopia, right? It's an online Photoshop where you can actually design and create your UI on Illustrator or on Photoshop. So I'm just going to design a very quick buttons for you guys. So for those of you who are following, they'll see that these things you can make on your own. So we're going to make a very basic button, a basic style. We're going to use some fonts, special fonts for it. So the fonts that we are going to use are this one. So this is how we manage it. Like, I'm going to put my project files here. The fonts that I've downloaded is Glue Gun, Price Down at Work, So one of these fonts we're going to use. So all the images we'll put it here, and the UI images we're going to put it here. So it's pretty good for you to organize these things. It becomes helpful. So regarding Photoshop, I hope you guys can see this one. So we're just gonna do quickly an image. Like, so for me, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put down my UI is going to be more on a rounded side. So I'm gonna do 500 by 500, or what do you guys think? Should I do? Yep, so I'm gonna do 500 by 500. I'm just gonna wait for it to wait, I need to do it again because I think a transparent 500 by 500, that's fine. I'm gonna go to layers. We are here, artboard. Okay, so I think we need to put white color here. I've just put white color here, and the second one I'm just gonna use, so you can come up with any color you want. You can get your color palette. So for me, all right, so what happens is if we take down, I want to keep it very bright, so you can do gradient as well, but because of for this example I'm just gonna take I think yellow color was pretty, it was looking pretty good, so this is the color that I'm gonna take, right? You've got two options. I'm going to use some of my shapes, rectangle, with this one, right? So the first button we are going to use, sorry, I'm just going to use the circle one, right click and circle one. So the first button we're going to use is button shape, right? So press shift, drag it, and we've got a circle. I don't do like full circle and then alt and backspace to have this color with us, right? So I'm gonna right click, blend options, and we're gonna give it a stroke. So for stroke, I'm gonna give it, okay, this color I'm just gonna change to 2F 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 so that the stroke color we actually know. Okay, wonderful. So stroke is, I'm gonna give it like 15. Yep. And I'm gonna give it a drop shadow 90 degrees downwards, and I think we're just gonna make it 25 25 25, so you can actually see the buttons shadow coming here, right? Regarding the shape, like I said, you guys can do where is it, gradient as well. So we can select green, yellow, oranges. We've got oranges as well. I think we can do greens as well. So these are some of the color combinations that I already have. Let's say neutrals. Oh, anyways, so you can use this one, but for me, I'm happy with the flat approach. So this is going to be our first image. I don't know what's the problem with this one. So if we take it out of the artboard, anyways, so I'm gonna control shift S to save it, and I'm gonna save it on our folder like the UI, right? So I'm gonna save it as a PNG. So this is just say button background. All right, so that's, and control S, gonna go into the project files for 01 UI circle. That's my main button, right? So we can use icons inside this button. So the icons that I have in mind is the info one, we can have the settings one, we can have the share button one, and we can have the other games one, right? So for that, all I have to do is, you can just search like free icons websites. I'll show you to you guys right here. So if you're using a free icon, you need to give them an attribute as well. I'm just going to do that again. So like I'm going to use pause icon, right? So we can use this one. And I think my recording studio is giving us a problem. It does that sometimes. And you guys know how good a Chrome is. So I think my Chrome is acting up. But that's all part of the development process, guys. I'm not gonna edit it so you guys know, like, if you get these problems, how to handle it. So I'm just gonna open the flat icons again. And yep, let's see. So I'm gonna show you again. So pause icon. I'm gonna open it here. And you have to give the attribute, right? So personal commercial use, the attribution is right. So this attribution will put in the credit section, right? So thumbs up to the person who actually designed it. So I'm just gonna wait for it to, I think it's downloaded or not. Yep, it's downloading. Yep. Okay. So we'll definitely give the attribute to incubator. So well done, guys. And all I'll have to do is now open the folder where we had the UI, right? So what I do is normally I'll just put in another folder, call it resources, right? So I know, like, this is the pause. This is the pause one. So going back to my pause button, I'm going to drag it on top of my image, and you need to have the width and height linked together so it's proportional. If you press enter and you want to change it again, just select the layer, press Ctrl T and click any width, press shift, and I'm going to press down button to make it smaller. So we're gonna, I think 70% is fine. So we've got 70%. I'm going to change the color to sorry, I'm going to over color to white, and I'm going to drop shadow the same way, but I'm going to make it a little less spontaneous and angle to 120. So all these things are dependent on you, right? So it's not a compulsory that you have to do this. So that's our first pause button. So I'm just going to write down pause btn, and we're going to put it in, right? So the next one is our info one. Like for info one, I can use a font. So that's a big font. The 200 maybe. I think that's too big, 150. And I'm going to press I, right? I here. And I'm just going to press Control and the button and the alphabet, and we're going to shift it together, right? Now for fonts, right? This is supply center, but the one that we were thinking of using, we're going to go back and see the fonts. So we've got glue gun, price down, and squirk. So we're just going to try. So this is a glue gun, looks good. And the other one, what was the other name? Price down. So let's see, price down. Okay, the third one is squirk. All right, so you have to check first whether the, I think I like the glue gun better. I don't know if you guys liked it or not. So if it's capital I or if it's small I, right? Doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the size to 200. Yep. And I'm going to shift it, Control Shift to make it a little down. And then I'm going to go to the layer, add another 0. I'm just going to put like, oh no, sorry, shift and drag it. So I know that we're going to put a white color button here and copy the fonts from the, I think I didn't save this one, so I need to do drop shadow 120 similar. Oh, it's too much. 555. That looks fine. Yeah, the pause button one, I'm gonna copy the layer style put it in here and then put it in the eye as well. Yep. So you need to remember this button is not going to look that much bigger. So it's going to become smaller once so I'm going to save it, Control S, and I'm going to go to UI. So we're going to do the second button is info btn. Press enter. And then did I save the pause button? I think I forgot to save the pause button. So going back to UI, PNG. So we're going to do 03 pause btn. So it's always a good idea to get these buttons in, keeping your Control S game to the top, and then coming back to the website, right? So we got the pause button. So I'm going to say share, right? Social share, so you can share your game, and that's going to be another one. And I'm going to say game. So we'll get, all right, this is good. So it shows like there are other games as well, right? So you can have like mobile phone as well. So I think rather than game controller, we can have, no, I think game was better. Because if we put a mobile, they won't know if it's for contacting us or what. So same thing, you need to give credit and the attribute in your game, because this is we'll actually put their credits and in the information section. So coming back to our folders where we put all these resources, and going back to my, all right, now same thing. So the share one, I have to open up, oh sorry, another folder inside the art. This is going to be share, and going back to my social share, and I knew it was like what, 60 maybe, or was it 50 or 60? So I'll just check with my pause. Yep. And going back to, because we're using the same icon, I'm just going to copy the layer here, and I'm going to paste the layer so that it becomes our own logo. And to make it aligned, that's our, now you'll see how fast we are actually designing it. So for those of you, you don't need to, for these things, you don't need to hire a designer as per se. So if you're an indie game designer, or this is something that you want to learn, you don't need to wait for a designer to come in and help you guys out. And this is something that can actually help you in your career if you're thinking about professionally choosing this as a career. So you can see I'm not dismissing like professional artists or those who are professional designers, full-time designers. Will definitely bring up something new, something very exciting. But for me, if I'm looking just for flat icons, gradient icons, you can actually develop this kind of stuff. So I'm just going to put the share one first, Control Shift S to save my UI as a PNG with a transparent background. And I've got a bit of a, what do you call, ADC, or what's called AST, something like, it has to be very organized. What do you call it? ADSD? Let me know in the comment what's it called. The people who've got a habit that they are forced to psychologically too. So I have to get this done. So it's very like games BTN, right? So we've got all these things. I'm going to Control save. Coming back to our project now. So I'm going to, in the assets folder, I'm going to create a new folder. It's called the media. So inside the media, we are going to have create a folder. It's going to call UI. In media, we'll have the sound effects. We'll have the I'm going to go to UI. So all these buttons I'm going to put in here. Yep. So all these images, we're going to go to texture type, select sprite 2D, and I'm going to apply. So we're going to use these as a button, right? Now coming back to our scene, I'm just going to check if the video is recording. All right. So right click, we are going to make a new canvas. canvas, so you can name it UI underscore canvas. So I know this is a UI based canvas, or if you just because of the confusion, just name it canvas, right? So once canvas is done, what you need to do is you need to select either camera or overlay. I actually normally prefer overlay with settings. So vertex color always is checked, and constant pixel scale with screen size. So we're going to do scale with screen size, and because I'm doing landscape, I'm just going to put 1920 by 10 HP. Reference pixel, put it 1, and match and width is going to be 0, right? This is going to be the beauty of it. Now I'm going to place all these buttons in my screen, right? So I'm going to do right click UI, we're going to do buttons. So for those of you who haven't done, you can install the TextMesh Pro. I think that comes with the Unity now. If you haven't, you can always install it through the package manager by going to Windows and package manager, select from here to Unity registry and search for it and download, right? So coming back, I'm going to click canvas, right click UI. I'm going to put in a button. So this button is going to be info BTN, right? Now info BTN, we don't need the text. We're going to remove this one. So info BTN, like I said, we put the dimensions 500 to 500. So it's going to give us something like TMP essentials. I'm going to import the TMP TextMesh Pro essentials. I don't need the examples for it, so that's just ignored. So we've got a square, so I'm just going to do 150 by 150, and I'm going to drag, go to image sprite, source image. I'm going to drag the info one, and there you have it. Now regarding the button size, right? So I think this is too big. I'm going to do 100 by 100. I don't play around with source, the scale. So 100 by 100 is fine, or was it 125 by 125? With the location, I'm going to left click here, press shift and anchor it to the top right corner. Select it again. I'm going to do 0, 0. So it goes right here. So this one is going to be 150 and 100. Sorry, minus 100. So this is someplace, or maybe that's too low, minus 50. I've done 500, right? So this is something that you guys can place wherever you want. So for me, the info button is comfortable to come here. So if you click this one, it's going to show a panel where all this information will be placed. Now press Ctrl D to duplicate the same button. Now it's going to come share BTN. So the share BTN, I think we can place it at the lower level with 0 and 0. So coming to 150, same button, and I'm going to give it 50, right? So is it like 150, 50? It's exactly the same. And with share button, I'm going to use the same drag and sprite, so it becomes a share button, right? So we've got the info button, we've got the share button, and it's up to you if you want to, where do you want to place it. So info, I'm going to place the other games BTN. So the other games BTN is minus 150. I'm going to do 250. It's too much. I think 200, right? So other games, I'm going to drag the game button again here, and that becomes other games. So the function of info is to give credits to your developing team, the resources that you've used. You put it there as a, if you want to put a disclaimer there, you can put a disclaimer there, contact information, that becomes. This is for other games that you've designed, you've developed. So somebody clicks it, it'll take them to your Google Play Store or the iOS store according to your platform. And the share button is if somebody wants to share your game with their friends or with their family, they can, or they want to comment on your game, so they can just click it and it'll give you a pop-up automatically. We'll add the programs later, right? So these three buttons have been done. So we can have a play button here. And if you want to add other buttons, like maybe a rating, like give ratings, thumbs up rating, that we can add here or on this side. So the rating one, we're gonna say rating and see if this is something that we can use. So which one do you think is more applicable to us? I think this is the one that we can actually use. So download again. Don't forget to give the attribute. We will give the attribute to the designer of this. And again, going back to resources, Our Photoshop is already open. Coming back to resources, have this one done. We're gonna make it again, and we're gonna put rating. I'm just gonna check something with the game. Okay, I thought I didn't put the effect there. So all right, so this is done. With resources, we're gonna put it to 60, and we're gonna rating goes to rating. With the game, I'm just gonna copy the layer style and paste it here, so you guys can actually know now that it doesn't take that much time later on. So once you've set up the basic stuff, you'll actually speed up your design work. And coming back to number 6, so that's rating BTN, and that's done. Going back to our project, we are going to import the buttons. UI button here, spread the same process again, texture type to sprite 2D and UI, and accept. And with the share button, I think with the rating one, we can take it someplace here, or we can take this one on the other side as well, but it's a left side game, so you can have the rating button here as well if you want. So I think for now we'll just duplicate this one, rating BTN, and I think minus 350 would do it, equal distance. And we're going to change it so it becomes a rating, so you can change the color as well. And now the best part is for the play button, right? So for the play button, it's up to you. You just want to use text, or you want to use a background button that says play. So for this one, I'm going to show you how we can use the text. So I'm going to go to UI, and I'm going to use the button text, right? So the button is F2 play BTN, because in this way you'll be able to see how we can import the text as well. And here we're going to say play, right? Just the text button. And for the play button, we're not going to use any image. I'm just going to remove this component from the button, and we've got the color, right? That's fine. Okay, so we're just going to hide. Yep, so we're just going to hide the image, and there comes our button. And the size is going to be maybe 50. Nope, 250. All right, so the button width is going to be, it's anchored in the middle. That's perfectly fine. So I'm going to do 500 by 150. All right, so canvas, I'm just going to do 2-day, and button, I think 850. What I can do is you can do like this stretch, right? So it's going to stretch all over, but the problem with this one is it can overlap with the I'm not going to stretch it, I'm just going to point it back. Yep, so I think 850 would do, and height is 200. So right, now coming back to the assets and media. So I'm gonna, within the media, I'm gonna make it fonts. Within the media, I'm gonna make it fonts. Double click it, go back to our resources. We've got the fonts. So glue gun is the one, OTF, we're gonna throw it in. And I'm gonna show you like price down as well. So we're gonna throw this one in as well. And squirk, we're gonna throw this one inside as well, right? So what we'll do is, if it's glue gun or squirk, let's do the glue gun. Right click, we are going to create, and we're going to use text mesh pro, and you're going to create a font asset. So shift control F12. I'll do it again for you guys. So right click on the font you've just imported, go to create, go to text mesh pro, and select font asset. So it'll create this font asset. Now coming back to play now, in these font asset, click this dot, and it'll show you the glue gun that we've created. See, the font has changed, so you can do whatever you want like this. So the color we're going to use with this one is going to be white, and 250. I think it's too much, so we're going to do like 200, And you can play around with it if you want to do it like I don't think bowl is the way to go. It's centrally aligned and floating. Now here's what I'm going to do, and that's the best part for this one, right? If you keep it very static, right, I'm going to do 20 minus 20 or minus 150. I'm not going to do very low because we need to show we'll probably show a banner ad here, right? Now if you just leave the game here, right, so there's nothing inviting somebody to have that play. You can use the button. So what I do is I'm going to create an animation for you guys, and we'll just close this part here. So I'm going to make a folder. It's called animation, and then there's a folder that's going to be called controller. I always spell this one wrong, so controller. So with animation, I'm going to press the play button. I'm going to do the text, right click, select the text and go to the window and click the animation window and animation, right? Here it is. So while selecting the text, I'm going to press create. It's going to create. So this is like play btn underscore animation, right? So I'm going to select the property that I want to add, right? So with this, I'm going to choose the rectangle and I'm going to choose the scale, right? I'm going to press. So this is a 60-second sample, right? So I can change it to 30 seconds, 30 sample, sorry. So we'll have everything set up to be 30 seconds, or you can leave it to 60 seconds as it is, right? Now what I'll do is with the scale, I'm just going to, because it's proportional, right? So this is going to be recorded here. So this is the same for 60 scales, right? So I'm going to do is at 20 frames, I'm going to increase the scale to 1.15. It's recorded, going to 40. I'm going to change this to 0.85. So 0.15 increase and 0.15 decrease, and then it's going to come back to its original size. And I'm going to stop, right? So if we play this one, you'll see the button, it's zooming in, zooming out, zooming in, zooming out, right? Now going to animation and the play button animation, we'll collect loop. And this is the controller, right? So I'm just going to drag the controller in the controllers just to make everything simple. You can use one controller as well. If you have the player controller, we can use this one there as well. Anyways, so going back to the simulator, now if I play, and I'm going to put player focus so it doesn't become a big screen, you'll see the play button animation being played, and that actually encourages the player to click it, right? So on top of that, we'll put the name of the game that you can design in your Photoshop, and I'm just going to do it right now. So we've got this one. I'm going to do another one new. So with the game, what I do is I know that, okay, the height of this game, the width of this game is going to be maybe 600, and the height I'm going to put to 400. 72 resolution I'm going to create. Okay, so I'm going to do text, and I'm going to select it, and we're going to do century line. 200 is too big. So the name of the game, the grocery mission, I think that was the name of the game, the grocery mission, right? Again, selecting glue gun, or you can, for the name, you can change like squirk. So we're going to do the grocery mission, right? So it looks pretty big. That's okay. I'm going to do 100. Nope. I'm going to do 85. Yep. Okay. Again, white color. That's fine. That's fine. So select the area, arrow aligning. That's a move to. This is where the fun begins. So selecting T for text, and we're going to use the shape style. I'm going to use an arc. That's too much, so I'm going to start from 0. Oh, damn it. Again, arc. and I'm just gonna press upscale up to make it maybe 25. So this is where it's up to you. So we can do like 20 here. Okay, that's absolutely fine. Going back to my characters, so I can actually reduce their height if I want the mission to stick together. So we're doing 68. Now coming back to my blending option, this is where the fun begins. So stroke 15. Yep, I can do the yellow one if you want, or you can use an orange color, or you can use the red color, right? So just to make it very prompt. See how good it goes. So this one I think with 90, and we can use 25 something. Big shout out to, you know, focus these guys, everyone who views. So you see, with just stroke and few things, your name actually looks pretty good. So we're going to, I'm just gonna make another layer here and make it invisible. Control Shift S, going to images, going back to my PNG. So that's 01 game name image. You can have this as a text as well from Text Mesh Pro, but I actually like more freedom. And we're going to save this file in the project file. 02 game name. And then coming back to your game and the folder that we were in, you're going to go back, images. Now coming back here, media. I'm not going to use another folder. It's going to call images. So this becomes very organized. And if you're going for a company, you're new to this is basically something. So always use the 2D and apply. It becomes invisible. Now coming back to canvas, right click. I'm going to use UI and raw image. So that's the name of the game name, right? And I'm going to make it go up. And I had kept I have this for dimensions, right? So I'm just going to go 600 by 400, right? 600 by 400. That was the ratio that I selected. So I'm going to put it like 600 by 400. That's a big image. Anyways, so with the sprite again, we're just going to change it, and there it is, right? And for this one, I am going to anchor it to the top, the game, and that actually doesn't look that bad, right? And with the scaling, I'm just going to do too much, 1.5. Yep, I think this looks pretty good. What do you guys think? Or we can move it a little up, maybe 50, and the play button is -150, right? So if you play the game, now you see the main image and the main window when somebody's going to play this game is going to come. So it encourages you to play the game. You click it, and on the left hand side you've got the information button. You can have the game button, you have the rating button, and the share button. Now you can later on, because this is a very basic game, you can have animations like click it and then these things drops down. So one button that I missed was the settings button. So we're going to put the settings button here or at the bottom right corner. I'm going to stop it, go back to our icon, and we're going to do settings. We'll do this home screen first, and then we'll move forward. I think the black one is fine. Just going to download it and open our icons. Do the duplication here or new. So this is like settings. So for settings, what we're going to do is we are going to set the sound and background sound, or the you know, when you touch the keys, that sound. So you actually do settings for two things. One is the background music, and then the button sound. SFX, that's the one we normally call it. So that's the button, and I'm gonna replace it. Regarding the color scheme, guys, if you don't like it, you can always change it. And once again, these files will be available to our Patreon. So if you wanna download and other stuff as well, join our Patreon page. It'll be in the description and on the screen as well. So number 7 is going to be settings BDN, right? And coming back to our project, where's the UI? And I'm gonna and we've got this same thing. Repeat those steps, and this UI apply. Now coming back to the info button, I'm going to control D for duplicate, and then settings BTN. I'm going to control shift to anchor it there. So we're going to use 0. So this is minus 150. And oh, sorry, I was going to do the bottom one. Okay. So we're going to do 0 and 0. So this is minus 150 and this is 50. Same level. And the settings one is going to be changed to the settings one. And that's basically it for us. But if you want to change the background image, right, this one, you can have, when we go into the game, we can take a screenshot of that game. Or if you want to generate an image, you can use Pixabay. That's the royalty free. You can use Unsplash, or you can use any AI tool that's free to generate the background image. But what I'll do is, once we go to the gaming section, we'll just take a screenshot of the platform, and we're going to put it at the back. But I hope for this part 1, it's gone a little longer for like 37 minutes, but this is something which we'll do like part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is the sequence where you've learned how to make your own UI, make your own, import the fonts, and how to place them. So even if we change now, you see, even if I change the devices, it scales with it, because that's how the anchor points work. So it doesn't matter if I'm iPhone 12, if I'm Huawei Pro, Galaxy Z Fold, all of these things will change by itself. See, so that's the benefit when you're designing and developing a game. Always do it in a simulator. So you don't need to have an actual device with you, and that's how it works. So this is going to be the end of part 1. In part 2, what we'll do is we'll go forward and make these actionable. Like click all these and share it, and we'll have the screen, and we'll make another scene and click play. We'll have the loading screen, and we'll go to our gameplay. And I hope that helps you guys. If you guys liked it, do comment, subscribe, and click the bell icon for more. If you have any questions regarding any specific portion, we'll do another tutorial for you guys for that portion itself. And for those of you who want this project file, all these stuff, you need to join our Patreon. I'm going to show you the Patreon we have. The link will be in the description as well as on the screen, guys. And that's it for the part 1. Wait for part 2 coming. I might do it today, might do it tomorrow. And let me know if you guys have done this one cleared, and show me your work. You can tag us, hashtag on Twitter. You can message us on our Facebook page, or you can join the Patreon and comment there, or comment in the YouTube section. So I'm your host, Ali Rathor from TechRath. Hope you guys have learned something. And if you have any suggestions, please let me know. And wait for part 2. So take care, bye-bye, and stay safe.
Please do subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon. Click this video to learn more.